Hey there, welcome back to Branded. We are diving right into this episode today. We're talking about the real reason your business still depends on you. So I'm going to just say it clearly. If your business slows down the second you step away, it still depends on you. And not in like a visionary kind of way. I'm talking about operationally. And that can be a real issue because there's a difference between your vision guiding the business and your presence holding the business together. Most women that I work with are not confused about what they do. They already know, right? They know what they are the best at. You already know who you are. You already know your work is really powerful. But behind the scenes, you're still the glue. And that is why growth feels really heavy. So let's talk about the real reason, right? The real reason it still depends on you because we built momentum before we built infrastructure. That's the reason. And that's okay. That happens to a lot of businesses, right? You got to build fast because in the beginning, there's like this urgency to just get off the ground, get going. And it's messy and it's exciting and it's amazing. But at a certain point, the growth that you have will start to really highlight all of these little holes and these gaps in your business where the infrastructure was never even touched, never even started, right? So, what I do with my clients, right, we focus on, well, okay, first, before we get to that, what most people do, what most people prior to us working together, what they're really focusing on is signing new clients, delivering results, and just making it work, which is great. Like, I totally get that. But what happens is you're not fully designing what happens automatically after you sign that new client. What starts to move in your business without you having to be the one that moves it? What is functioning when you're not online and you want to be offline with your family at the park, right? Not checking your notifications constantly, not refreshing your inbox constantly. These are the parts of business that don't typically get built because you kind of don't need them in the beginning. Everybody says like, "Well, I'm too small for that right now in the beginning." But at a certain point, when you're ready to level up the standards of your own business, if the infrastructure was never built in the first place, all of those gaps will be blatantly obvious. And you'll start to recognize that so much of your energy is being put into being the safety net and the manual override for your own business. So, what happens when this is going on, right? You become the quality control. You're the reminder system. You're the follow-up sequence. You're the CRM filter and segmenter, right? You're the sales page editor. And in the end, you're missing all of this stuff. Not because you're not good at it, it's just because it's so, not all of that can live in your brain. It just can't. You want to focus on the parts of your business that you love to do. Why are you being sucked back in to having to, do the automation part of the business when there are tools out there that do it for you? So, you feel disorganized. You feel mentally way overloaded. And these are all signals that the business was built fast, but the infrastructure wasn't. So, if you were removed from the equation tomorrow, let's say, right? You wake up tomorrow and you don't do the little manual override and acting as the safety net for your business. Let's say tomorrow you wake up and you assume that your business is running like it should. What breaks? This is the real audit of what's really depending on you. So if you were to step away for 2 weeks, let's say, would your business just come to a screeching halt? So, I want to kind of run through a couple places in your business that you can see this happening and what you can do about it. So, let's say for sales, if someone lands on your sales page, does it clearly guide them to the next step? Does it answer any objections they might have? Does it move them to a decision? Or are you the one that is closing 80% of your sales through the DMs? If sales require your voice memos, your reassurance, your custom explanations, then the system is not finished yet. This is an opportunity. So here's some things you can look for. Are there messaging gaps? Are there missing like frequently asked questions that maybe you could add to the sales page that you can stop answering in the DMs? Um, is there like, is there no automated follow-up whatsoever? If someone was to inquire or purchase, is there something automatically happening after they take that action? Is there a structured nurture sequence of some kind after they take action? Because a working system sells without chasing anyone. So that's your sales page, and that's a great place to start. But I'll be honest, that's usually pretty okay for most people. Sometimes the messaging can obviously get outdated. But the next couple of steps that we're going to look at, these are definitely areas that most business owners, they really either they don't think about creating infrastructure for, or they think it's just easier for them to be that safety net and the manual override because they don't know how to create the infrastructure. And I mean, honestly, you can always reach out to people that know how to do that kind of work. Google and YouTube are pretty great to learn things. Depends how good of a problem solver you are, I suppose, or how much time you have on your hands. So, another place that you want to look at this is your email sequences. Do you trust your emails? If someone was to opt in for something today, do they receive consistent like education or information on what to do next? Are they feeling nurtured? Are they getting to know you? Is there a clear path to maybe the next offer or the next kind of conversation you want to be having with people based on how they got into your world? Or are you manually broadcasting when you remember? Like, hey, by the way, I just had some people opt in for some stuff, and this is what you do next. And it's just like this manual thing that you go and shoot them a text message or something. If your email list only hears from you when you're in launch mode, the business is still depending on your energy. So, what you really are looking for when you're kind of doing this mental audit before maybe you fully remove yourself to do a physical audit of this, because that can be really scary. I get it. You don't want things falling through the cracks, but I guarantee this kind of internal work on your business is entirely necessary if you expect it to grow. So, what we want is automated nurturing, structured sales sequences, timed delivery, right? Every 7 days, they hear from you, whatever. Clear transitions between stages, letting people know, okay, this is your onboarding. Now we're here. We're in the bulk of it. Okay, now we've ended. We're on the offboarding stage. This is what you do next. When email works, you don't have to micromanage this kind of communication. Another place that this infrastructure gap will show up is in your workflows. These are automations that trigger based on actions that people are taking. So, what happens when someone pays you for something? Is everything triggered automatically, right? Does it automatically send them a contract and an invoice and a welcome email and the access links that they need and onboarding instructions? Or are you manually sending all of those pieces out to somebody? If onboarding somebody requires you to remember all of the steps, you're the workflow. That is all of that is your time being taken in order to make that happen. So here's what to look for in your own business. What kind of manual steps are you doing when someone purchases or books a call or signs up for something, a free resource? Are you having these manual steps? Are you missing some of these automations? There's no confirmation triggers of any kind that let you know, okay, this is the next thing that needs to happen. There's no internal notification, so maybe you don't even know when someone purchases sometimes. That can be just as detrimental. A strong workflow means nothing breaks when you're offline. Workflows are so freaking powerful. And I'll be the first to tell you, technology is not foolproof. I put together workflows all the time for my clients. And every now and then I get or a text from a client that's like, "Hey, I didn't get my internal notification. Okay, let me go take a peek and look." Sometimes there's something weird that goes on with technology. A box gets checked or unchecked and something doesn't send. But the fact that it's in place means I do one quick little check, maybe make one little fix, or I have some sort of explanation for what might have gone wrong. Boom, done. We move on. And it's still working. So you don't want things breaking when you're offline? Get yourself some workflows. Now, another place that your infrastructure will start to find these little leaks is your CRM. Is it organized? And I'm not saying it has to be like the most organized thing in your life, but to have a CRM that makes sense. So when you go and look at it at a glance, you know, okay, these people purchased this product. These people opted in because they got this free resource. You want to know why people are in your world and why they're sticking around, because then it allows you to have more precise and targeted conversations with them. So, is your CRM organized or is it living in your own head? You're like, I know who everyone is. If you want your business to grow, you need to get all of that out of your head so you can make space for the new stuff. So, if you're the sorting system for your business, that is incredibly fragile. You want to have really clear pipeline stages of like, okay, so someone opted in for a free resource. What's the next stage? Okay, they're getting a nurture email sequence. Maybe they're going to buy into something. So you have these stages of how they go from a lead to a customer. Are the way you're tagging them, is that done automatically or are you having to do that manually? Whenever the status changes, they go from a lead to a customer. Does that trigger some sort of behavior automatically in the back end of your system, welcoming them, getting them new information? Is there segmentation that you're having to rely on your own memory in order to be like, oh, okay, so Sarah was doing this and Jenny was doing this, and you're just thinking about all of this manually? That's fucking exhausting. Do not recommend. If someone was to ask you, where are all your current warm leads like sitting in your business? Could you instantly answer? Do you know, like for certain? Yeah, they're in my CRM and they're tagged with this tag. If not, then that's a perfect spot to like refine and create some infrastructure for, right? Another place you'll see these infrastructure gaps in your business that are still relying on you is decision bottlenecks. So this one is really subtle, creeps up. Are clients waiting on you for things like approvals, feedback, access, clarification? If people are having to wait on you for these things, you're the one bottlenecking your own business. If team members, let's say you have a team of people, whether it's one person or 20, 50 people underneath you, if team members are having to wait on you for direction, confirmation, small like operational decisions, that is honestly, it's kind of wasting time. Like these things should be decided upon. Otherwise, you become the bottleneck in your own business. If everything pauses, until you have time to respond, the business still depends on you to run properly. And that's not really leadership, that's bottlenecking. So here's what I would troubleshoot when removing myself from my business in order to see what is working and what needs a little bit of attention. When we intentionally start removing ourselves from daily operations, here's what to look out for. Silence. It's a big one. If things go quiet, it means there's no automation carrying the momentum forward. So if you're not getting an internal notification that someone just purchased something and they're not getting any of the emails, and 2 weeks have gone by and you haven't heard from this person, but you know they purchased, that silence tells you something. There is a missing piece of automation in that equation that has basically the momentum has just dropped right off. You want to carry it through. Another place that you'll see this happening is confusion. If a client's email with like, here's what happens next in your onboarding sequence isn't clear, people will be very confused and they'll start reaching out to you going, what am I supposed to do next? I purchased XYZ product and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Now, to be fair, sometimes the confusion is user error, right? We all know that not everybody reads their emails like they're supposed to, or, gets their notifications and actually really reads them. So sometimes the confusion is not always on you, but you want to kind of be aware of how frequently is this happening? And can I do something about it? Because the more to the point and clear you are in your onboarding sequences, you give them all the access they need, not just once, but multiple times. It gives you that sense of freedom knowing that they're getting the information way more than like one or two times. They're good. Another place that you'll see this sort of happening when you remove yourself from your business is sales will drop off. So if revenue dips immediately when you step back from your business, then that means your sales are personally driven by you. Like there, nothing in your system is driving the sales if that's the case. So where can you fix this? Can you insert some email communication in the sequence whenever someone is purchasing or opting into a call with you or something of the sort that creates that selling possibility? Are you doing it in your social media and having things scheduled out? If you're going to take a 2 week vacation, I would suggest scheduling your social media during that time so you don't have to worry about it. You can be making sales. Like that's the point of having your own business and saying you want the freedom to be your own business owner. You have to create these kinds of systems in the back end if you truly want that kind of freedom. Another place you'll see these infrastructure gaps showing up, manual overrides. If you are constantly jumping in to just fix something, that process is not fully designed. It's not fully done yet. If you have like mental tracking, if you're keeping all of these things in your head, that is structural weakness. And this is not shame. None of this is shame. This is opportunity to refine and rebuild the parts of your business that maybe were never built in the first place. So here's the part that most people kind of skip. You don't build the systems because you're scaling. You build the systems because you're done being the one holding it all together, being the glue. You're done being the reminder, the bridge, the human Zapier. Oh God, I really don't like using Zapier. I stopped using it a while back because it was not fun. You're done being the emotional support system for your own infrastructure. And these are things you already know. You already are telling yourself these things. I'm done. I'm done doing it. And you're not saying you want to work less because you're just lazy. You want to step away and have nothing break because you want a website that you're really excited to send people to. You want email sequences that you trust. You want automations that move clients smoothly through a process. You want a CRM that reflects the reality of your business. Who is doing what where? You want a foundation that can actually help you grow, not consistently be sucking you back into it. You don't want to collapse under the pressure of running your own business. So, a business that depends on you to run properly will always feel fragile. A business that is guided by you, but operated on its own, within its own infrastructure, feels really solid. That's the shift. It's not to remove your vision. We remove the necessity of every micro step that you're having to do right now. And when we do that, growth stops feeling chaotic and it starts feeling like you designed that growth on purpose. If this episode hit a nerve for you, it's probably because you already see these gaps in your business. And that's a really good thing. Honestly, like you're ahead of the game. Awareness is an operational superpower. So now's the time. Build it properly. If you want to continue growing, you have to take a look at your infrastructure and your systems. This is the real reason. It still depends on you. I'll see you next week for a brand new episode of Branded. For more, visit socialjanemedia.com, head to the podcast page, and you'll see all of our past podcasts living there. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.